We're here on rest day, so I'm going to run you through a bit of my morning routine on a rest day. I normally come here or somewhere similar to the beach, grab a coffee, get some steps in as the sun comes up over the beach, and set up the day before I'm back at the office. For me, a rest day is a big day spent pretty much behind the laptop, smashing out client check-ins, client programs, client work, and any admin stuff I need to do. Big busy day, make the most of having a bit of extra mental energy considering it's the day off the gym. So we're here at the Oxley, the OG. If you're on the Gold Coast, you know the Oxley. Everyone comes here, smashes the old, if you're an online coach, you probably come here at least like 5 times a week to smash out your work. But come here, get a coffee, got the odd long black on its way, which will revive me, wake me up a little bit. What is it now? It's 6:52. So first little caffeine hit of the day and that'll get us rolling. And then we'll go get some steps in, go for a walk, catch the beach. So today being Thursday is my second check-in day of the week. So now that we're under 10 weeks out, we're doing check-ins twice a week. And little things like that for us bodybuilders are very exciting. So I'm now checking in with my coach Dean every Monday morning fasted and every Thursday morning, where I just take my photos, weight, upload all my stats, feedback, all that sort of stuff. So I took my check-ins first thing this morning. I feel like things are looking sharper and sharper as things come along. I hit a new low weigh-in yesterday, like sitting around mid 102s now. So weight's coming down pretty cruisily. So what I'll do for my coach is I'll upload all my poses so we can get a good look at the visual of my physique and how it's changing. Upload videos of my poses, then I'll upload the snapshots of everything, so all the quarter turns, all the mandatory poses, pretty much everything you're hitting on stage. And then he'll send me through feedback the day following every check-in, making adjustments to nutrition, making adjustment to training, making adjustments to supplements, making adjustment to even posing as well. But the fact that we're checking in twice a week now, for me, is exciting. And it seems like such a little thing, but I think when you go from off-season, which for some people is checking in every now and then, for me, I check in once a week in the off-season. But now being under 10 weeks out, checking in twice a week, it's just sort of like that monumental thing to sort of signify that we're getting into the serious end, and it's exciting. So. And then the next day, I always know I get my check-in response the morning after the check-in day. I wake up, first thing I do, whip open the phone, listen to the check-in, listen to the updates, and it's like a kid waking up on Christmas Day. I get excited to see the adjustments, because it's always cool to not only get feedback, but also sort of know what the next plan of attack is and what the next step is. And there's always generally moving pieces, especially the deeper you get in prep, there's a lot more smaller refinements that need to be made on a regular basis. For me now, I feel pretty lean and pretty like almost maybe even ahead of schedule for this period of time out. We're doing like a lot of regular refeeds, which is at the attempt to minimize fatigue, maintain fullness, maintain muscle, and just sort of keep me fuller without flattening out. So some days I'll wake up and the first thing I see on my plan is refeed today. And I'm like, yes, which really essentially is just like an increase in rice in meals. But I love my jasmine rice. Bit extra carbs is always nice, and then you take it to the gym, the pump's always nasty, and then I feel like that little like boost the body sometimes needs to keep it moving and even kick into the next gear. But yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces going on at this point of prep, which is exciting, because there's a lot of just progress made at like a pretty rapid pace, which is cool. This is my house. One of the main reasons I like to come here on my rest days being like a busy, productive business and work day. I'll come out here, out to the Oxley and Hedges Ave, because for me it's like a manifestation sort of thing. This is where I want to live. This area is like my goal, and this house here is my goal. I don't know the address, I won't share the address, it's kind of weird, isn't it? But it's an absolutely beast house, and I come here whenever I come here on my rest days, and I sort of like just envision myself walking out of this bedroom balcony in the morning with my Mr. Olympia medal hanging on the wall, starting my day, living in my house. This is like it, and I think the more I the more I visualize that, the more it just excites me for bringing all my goals to life. I always write it in my like journaling that I do every morning, like trying to bring my vision to life. I've got this one clear, distinct vision that I've sort of got just like imagined in my mind that I just sort of use to remind myself of all the goals I have. And a big part of that vision includes this big old house here. I picture myself just walking out, opening the windows, looking out the ocean in the view back there, and I walk back inside and I've got the big Mr. Olympia medal hanging on the wall, or multiple Mr. Olympia medals. It's all about bringing it to life. Have the vision, keep it present, always repeat it, keep it clear in your mind, and then just remind yourself of how much you want it. And then I think that's something that keeps me going, keeps me motivated. Yeah, pretty much. I remember I remember when I was going for my pro card, I would envision myself, like every day driving to the gym, I'd like envision myself winning my pro card, getting awarded the pro card on stage from Tony. And I think just envisioning all that sort of stuff just keeps me excited, keeps you motivated. And then the more you envision it, the more it just sort of tends to become a part of your life. And it did. Now I'm just sort of constantly envisioning all the things that I want. I've got a big list of things that I aspire for, not only material items, but things I want to achieve, personal traits that I want to like acquire, things and pieces of knowledge I want to learn, business ventures I want to take part in. But I think if you're able to envision all the things that excite you and act out of your imagination and your dreams, all the things you sort of want, I think just sort of come to life, and you have a bit more of like a direction for all the actions you take. So there's my little piece of wannabe inspirational beaches for the day. Isn't she beautiful? Just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Nice little walk from the cafe. Now the coffee juices are flowing. I feel a little bit more alert. I'm able to speak and answer some more questions. So let's answer some more goddamn questions. So explain the meaning of a pro card, what you do with pro card, I guess the ins and outs of that. So for people who don't know, who aren't so much into the bodybuilding world, your pro card is pretty much like your statement or qualification to be competing in international pro shows. So you'll compete in amateur shows with the goal of winning your pro card or achieving your pro status, which is probably a more accurate way of saying it. And then what that does is, if you win your pro card by winning a national show, you're essentially a professional bodybuilder. So you can go and do all the pro shows where you are competing for money, where you're competing to qualify for the Olympia. So now that I've won my pro card a couple of years ago, I'm a professional athlete, essentially. So I'm competing in the pro shows. I have the ability to go and travel and do all the big shows of choice around the world with the goal of qualifying for the Olympia, which is like the Super Bowl grand final of bodybuilding in itself. So if I win a big pro show, that's my qualification and my ticket to the Olympia, which is in, I think, September or October in Vegas every year, which is like the pinnacle of bodybuilding, and that's my goal. So my goal in mind is qualifying for the Olympia. And you never really know when you're rocking up who's going to be there and who's going to compete and what you can expect. But I always go in there with the intention to win, as cocky as it might sound. No matter what show I do go in with the mindset of I'm going to win, even if I'm doing it from almost like a delusional place. I think it's a sort of mindset that's required to make sure that you're giving it your all. The shows I did last year, I wasn't big enough. Like, I needed to come in bigger. I just didn't have enough pure muscle maturity or size, but I still went in with the mindset of I'm going to win. And I think I did so in a delusional sort of manner because I wasn't big enough. I still did okay for my pro debut. I came like around 10th, which was like halfway, mid-pack, halfway around placing. I think there was like 20 something guys coming around 10, 11th-ish for those two shows, Pittsburgh and New York last year. Wasn't bad for a first pro show, but I was disappointed. But I obviously just needed to grow. This time around, I'm still going in. I'm like, I want to win. And I'll never know if I'm ready or not yet until the day. But the goal is to just keep pushing, aim for the highest, and that goal will come to life in time, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, whether it's whenever. As long as I keep my goals and intentions set to the absolute highest, that's the only way that I'm going to get there eventually. But another question was getting in your own head and sort of, I guess, wondering if you're good enough, or sort of accepting feedback and not being sure of, being sure of yourself. But for me, the whole process of bodybuilding is fun. Like, whether you be in a prep, whether you be getting shredded, whether you be growing. Like, if I go to a show and get feedback to say, hey, you're not big enough still, you need to grow. Like, although it can be taken as a negative, for me it's sort of like a positive, because it just means that I've got more work to do. I've got more that I can work on. I've got more areas that I can continue to progress upon, and for me that's exciting. I remember back at my the last show I did, although I was disappointed that I didn't place in the top few, I remember standing on stage. They had the first call outs, so I think the top 5 guys were all posing, and then they had us on like the sidelines on the diagonal just watching. And although I was disappointed, I remember being hit with like a big surge of excitement, because I was looking at the guys, I was like, man, these guys are big, and I was like, I'm just keen to get big now. Like, I know what needs to be done. This shows, although disappointing the placing, it's shown me what needs to be done, and what needs to be done is grow, develop, get bigger, and improve. And I just remember like getting hit with this big wave of like excitement that, all right, let's grow, we're gonna get big. And I don't know, it was a weird feeling of shifting from disappointment to excitement and almost motivation to work towards that next level and next step. And then pretty much we left America around May, pretty much this time last year. and then got straight back to work and spent pretty much that whole time between this time last year and now growing, improving, getting better, working on my mindset, working on my, I guess, knowledge as well, changing approaches, switching coaches, and I think just developing and making progress overall. So it's been good. Now I'm just keen to put it to life. We've got 9 weeks to fine tune everything and pull everything in and make the most of it. And we'll see how we go from there. Another question, why did you switch coaches? So I was with Matt Jansen for my last prep and for my prep the year beforehand as well, where I won my pro card, who was an awesome coach. If you don't know him, like, he's pretty much one of the top tier coaches in the world. And I'm always asked, why'd you leave? What happened? What's the drama? What's the beef? There's no beef. Essentially, to run through it, my goal was to take a little bit of time in the off season to run my own thing, sort of de-stress a little bit when I was going through a bit of sort of like a mentally stressful time, and focus on sort of getting my head straight. So what I did is I took some time, essentially as a bit of a break, to not be with a coach and just sort of structure my own training, diet, nutrition, and everything on my own. And then after a short period, I got recommended by a few mates to go and have a chat with Dean, just to get some advice, really, I think, just to make sure I was doing everything right, who's my current coach, Dean McKillop. And I remember I jumped on a call, and then as soon as I jumped on a call with him, I was like, I actually really like the vibe of this guy. So instead of getting some advice and sort of playing it by ear, I just sort of jumped on and started working with him straight away. And I'm very glad I did. Not that there's anything wrong with any coaches I've had in the past. All my coaches have been great, but every coach has their own approach. And I feel like Dean's approach compared to coaches I've had in the past is very, very diverse and very, I guess, different to what I had done in the past. And for me, this is sort of what I think I mentally and physically gel with the best. Having a bit more of like, I feel like a bit more like a evidence-based sciencey sort of approach. With a lot more precision on the smaller, more meticulous variables. I think for me, that is the way my mind works. I like having every small detail just refined and like under control and monitored, which is sort of the way that Dean does stuff, which is awesome. So I've been working with Dean now since like maybe July last year. And we've had an awesome growth phase, an awesome sort of reset phase, then a bit of a mini cut phase, into a holding phase, and then now into prep. And I'm really excited to see how this new approach comes to life. For me, like mentally, I feel more aligned than ever before. I think my body's sort of on par with that as well. I think my body's in its freshest, most healthy, most responsive, and most like, I don't know, lifelike sort of state as well. So I think it's going to really translate well to the stage. Knowing that the stresses are the lowest they've ever been, I think it really shows in the physique as well. The physique looks a lot more alive, full, detailed. And I feel like the fact that I'm a lot more present in this prep than I have been in other preps, and the fact that I'm enjoying myself more, I feel that's going to translate to progress and the visual look on stage as well. So I think the moral of the story of that is find a approach. Every coach has got a different way of doing things, a different way of structuring, and a different sort of set of certain procedures they'll run through. It's important to know that there's no right or wrong. It's just about sort of finding what method you gel with the best as a person. And for me, I think I've found a great blend here. So I'm feeling very, very content with this prep so far. I think it's going to be a good one. So far, so good. Now it's just about bringing it home and making sure every day counts so we can be taking home some wins. Do we have any other questions that we mentioned? I rambled on for fucking ages there.
I think we got a lot.
Sweet as. Let's go walk along here and get some shots. The vision behind Crew. So Crew, which is dropping very, very soon once we finalise these last pieces of stock, is my little baby child business that I've started to build up. I've always wanted to, for as long as I remembered, I've always wanted to build my own clothing brand. I remember back when I was like a teenager, I really was into like surf clothing and surf culture and all that sort of stuff, and I wanted to make like a surf brand. Obviously, I didn't know how the hell to make it or where to start, so it was just sort of like a little vision and a dream that never happened. Then there was a point where I was really into like drawing and art and like, I guess, alternative style stuff, and I wanted to get into like drawing and designing for clothing. Again, didn't really know what to do, it never happened. But now, obviously, I've spent a bunch of time in the bodybuilding world. I want to build a brand that sort of goes hand in hand with that. So I remember driving home from the gym one day, and I was thinking about the fact that I want to make some cool ribbed singlets, because everyone sort of loves like the ribbed old school singlets in the gym, and everyone always asks me where I got mine from that I always generally wear, which I've just sort of sourced from like random shops. And I was like, well, everyone keeps asking me where I'm getting these ribbed singlets from. Why don't I just make my own? And I'll make them the perfect fit, the perfect material, and make them how I like them, because that's what I like to wear in the gym. And everyone's always asking for them. And I was like, all right, maybe I'll do this. I'll start a brand, and I'll finally act on this dream I've had of making a clothing brand. So the ribbed singlet is sort of what sparked it. And then obviously got a bunch of other ideas for other pieces of clothing as well. But the vision is sort of gym clothing, or clothing that is suitable for bodybuilders, but sort of a little bit more like of a casual style. So something that we can wear to the gym, but something we can also wear outside the gym. Something that's like gym wear without it being like your typical like active wear sort of style, if that makes sense. So sort of like a blend between casual streetwear and gym training stuff. So I've got this flannel coming out, which for me I envision being like a cool pump cover that you can sort of wear out and about like I am now. I got the singlets coming along as well. A lot of people actually wear those ribbed singlets like under like a button-up shirt when they're going out to like, I don't know, some occasion as well. So it sort of can go hand in hand with that. And the mesh shorts, which you can wear to the gym or throughout the day. And then bring out a bunch of other stuff as well. There's a bunch of other things. I'm gonna get very similar hats made to these. We've got some trackies coming out. I've got heaps of ideas. So it's just about, I want to get some jerseys done as well. Do you know everyone sort of wears like the old school like 90s style replica like soccer jerseys and stuff? I'm gonna get some of them made up and design those too. So the vision is pretty much making a clothing brand, which I've always wanted to do, based around all of the cool clothes that I would want to wear myself. And then I can share that vision of that style with everyone else and let everyone else sort of dress the way I do, if that's what they like. Anyway, we've walked here because this house is a fucking beast. Like I said before, I've got all these certain houses and certain places and things that I use to create vision in my mind and create motivation. This house here I've always loved. Again, on Hedges Ave, the beach is like right here, so they're looking right over the water. This is Morgan and I's dream house pretty much. But I like to come here, especially before a busy day, just to sort of get my mindset in that excited sort of state, to remind myself of one of the other things I'm working on. But like I said, it's always, I think for me, number one thing I always keep focus on is a vision. Have a really clear vision of what I want. So clear vision of crew, clear vision of houses I want, clear vision of the lifestyle I want to live, clear vision of things I want to achieve, and a clear vision of, like I said, just the life in general that I want to like strive for. And it just helps me just sort of gives me that extra spark of energy and motivation towards partaking all the actions that I do need to take to make progress in the most driven manner possible. So Thursday morning rest day routine, that's pretty much it. Coffee, walks, chats, and then a bit of motivation, manifesting mindset, setting the mind in the right state for another productive day. But it's, what is it, 8 o'clock, time to go home and get my first meal in. Big Phil Heath is the background, by the way. Can you see that? If you've seen, I forget what year it was, there's one year, there's like this real iconic video of Phil Heath just aggressively marching out onto the stage as he's going out to compete at the Olympia. And that's like a screenshot of it because it just embodies the energy that I want to bring into everything I do. But yeah, back to the office now, smash out check-ins, do a bit of meal prep, and we've got a busy day of work ahead. And then I'll probably finish the day off with a nice little lower body remedial massage, let the body sort of de-stress some more. 9 weeks out, this time in 9 weeks time, I will be probably just arriving, I think, in Taiwan for the first show. So it's all happening now. Time to just make the most of every day. Smash it all out, enjoy the process, have fun, and get absolutely freakishly huge and shredded.